Hello, Kitty! And Kitty! And Pillow Kitty! And Kitty! And you! Welcome back to PowerWash Simulator 2. And I'm pretty much doing right after the last episode. Hello, Squeak, with my rubber glove. And really enjoying it. And hopefully you are as well. If you didn't like episode 1 and you're here at episode 2, thank you anyway. Don't know why you would be here, but appreciate you anyway. All right, so let's head to our next job at the public facility at Equinox Boulevard in Detergento. All right, boom, here we go. Welcome to the town of that's a mouthful, Detergento, where the past meets the future to manifest a present we can all live with. It almost sounds like you're just barely getting by. We just want a present that we just can live in. That's all we want. A thing happened to us the other day when I asked my colleague to do a deep dive inventory on our public facilities. We found the schematics for revolutionary convenience installed in 2003, but then almost immediately forgotten about and assumed to be a bench. The whole thing is just pure detergento. All right, so dirty they think it's a bench. I imagine it's not. All right. So, like before, we'll start at the top, right down the middle, and 2003. So that's a nice segue into what we can talk about today. So 2003, if you remember 2003, awesome. You're as old as I am. 2003 for me was year number 2, like technically my first year in the Army, but also my second year. I came in June 2002. And 2003, I was up in Fort Lewis, Washington, and I was with a unit, a signal corps. Oh, that is nice. Just split the water. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So I was at Fort Lewis, Washington at a signal unit that had not deployed since World War II. Not even in Vietnam did the unit I was with even go. You looked at our guidon and our streamers, like there was Normandy and like a few other places in France, and then that was it. So there was really no indication that we were going to deploy, even though, 2003, the global war on terror was, pretty much at its peak, really kicking off. And, we were like, well, we're still not going to go, right? We're the 29th Signal Battalion. In fact, we were military historian can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was said that the 29th Signal Battalion, being attached to a National Guard Signal Brigade in Alabama, we were the only active duty Army unit that was attached to a National Guard brigade. Like, it was weird. Our general was down in Alabama, and we got to see in 2006 our fellow brigade brethren, when we relieved them, they did not know about us. So here we come, we bring up our signal shelters, and they're like, who are you? Why are you wearing our patch? And we're like, we're the 29th. Like, we're your guys' brigade. Like, we're here to relieve you. And of course, that blew their mind because they had never heard of the 29th Signal Battalion, didn't even know we existed, and they were all confused about why we were wearing their unit patch. It was kind of interesting to see, like, how closed off National Guardsmen were, or at least not informed, as it were, and being the Army, that makes complete sense. All right, let's get, so we got underneath this little bench here. Now, it says it's open, but I don't really think it is, whatever it is, at least until we uncover. Now, we should be. There we go. So, do we get this ring? All right, so roof sign is technically done. All right, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to do concentric circles? Do we just want to do left turns around this thing? Do some laps? We might. Makes me wish we had some tools. Now, I wonder if the wider stream is enough. No, wide stream is not even enough. How about the green? Yeah, we can get a little bit wider. Doesn't look like the dirt is that caked on. We can handle it with a green. But yeah, could you imagine where all this mud and dirt would be going? Oh, speaking of which, I was curious. On the last episode, I mentioned the Canadian auto detailer YouTube channel. It was the Detail Geek. As soon as I looked it up and typed in auto detailing, he was one of the first that pops up. 3.5 million subscribers? And yeah, he's very good at what he does. He used to, I believe, post videos on Fridays. And it was part of my Friday tradition to watch his videos and see what kind of crap he uncovered from these people's vehicles. It's one of those, like, I guess, not schadenfreude. It's not the feeling of someone else's pain makes you feel good, but it's the feeling of, like, looking at people's cars that were brought to him. It was that feeling like, whenever I feel that, like, my car might be a little bit dirty, or I feel like I'm having a bad day, I watch that and realize that I'm not as dirty as the general population. And the comments on those type of videos are always enlightening, because usually it's like a van or something like that, and French fries are buried deep within the cushions. And like, people will say, well, they have kids. Oh, this is a mother of 4. You can't expect her to keep her van clean when you have 4 kids that you're always taking to hockey practice and things like that. But it's like, well, teach them at least common decency to pick up after themselves. I get that a stray fry can drop into the cracks, but teach your kids to clean up after themselves. Crying out loud, don't let your dirt fester. I remember when I got my first car. They were my mom and stepdad were very adamant that I get like seat covers and steering wheel covers, and their reasoning was, well, when you eat in the car, you're going to get sauce and things all over the place, and you don't want to ruin your upholstery. And I was adamant, I am not going to eat in my car. One, it's a distraction. And because you see bad drivers, even today with cell phones, and this is back when cell phones were just starting to be a thing. They weren't public yet. Only the high rollers on Wall Street really had cell phones. So it's like food and makeup were like the big distractions. And it's like people wreck their cars because there's stuff in their face. Now people wreck their cars because they're okay. Oh. All right. Well, we got started. Might as well keep on going. Does the green work? Awesome. Cool. Well, kinda. Yeah, so we can either hit it twice, or we can scale down to a yellow. Yeah, we'll scale down to a yellow. But it's like, anything distracted driving, I'm not all about. My dad was a police officer, so I learned, PowerWash services were camped out in the middle of nowhere and one heap of filthy trouble. Can you help? So I think that might be our next job down there. But as I was saying, my dad was a police officer, and he told me about all the distracted driving that he saw around town and some of the wrecks that he had to attend. And it found out, like, well, I spilt, my coffee on the floor and distracted me. And it was almost, around the time of that McDonald's lawsuit. That tells you how far back that was. The lady who won the lawsuit against McDonald's. And everyone, a little tidbit, the general consensus was like, yeah, well, it was hot, so you should have known that it was hot. But she won her lawsuit because it was overly hot. The machine had it, I think it was like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was 10, 15, 20 degrees hotter than it should have even been. Even hot coffee was not as hot as she received. So yeah, I could see her winning that lawsuit, but he was just telling me about distracted driving. Just the different things that people do. These days, it's almost like scary to drive, not knowing what people are looking at, saying, use your hands-free devices, but they're not. Phone up to their ear. Taking calls that, may be important, but probably can wait. I have my away message set. There's only one person that I let text me while I'm driving. And that message will still come through on my watch. But everyone else basically gets the driving message from me. And I've lucked out. Not one message that has came to me while I was driving was a life and death situation that needed to be taken care of right then and there. It can happen, don't get me wrong. But I'm just fortunate that nothing had. Oh, we have a little bit of a sign here. Let me go ahead and get that. Driving me barking. Here we woof again. All right. Produced by Gethendun, written by Arthur Brain, directed by Derek Degas. Are you real? Or are you just a figment of the developer's imagination? That'd be something if they were like Kickstarters or early adopters. That'd be a way for a developer to give back to their players. Give them little Easter eggs. And I'm sure a game like this where you can have signs and things like that can definitely hide some Easter eggs. We'll work on one corner here. Work from top to bottom. Get that corner. It would almost be better to do one part at a time. That way we're, sure we got it. Oh, that's grime. That's caked on down there. All right, let's see if I remember how to do this. Soap. Poof. Get off of there. Nice. Tell you, the soap works wonders. And looking at the Steam page, the soap was like one of the big additions for this version was that the soap is incredible. And I concur. The soap will definitely get things done. It'll be interesting to see in our future jobs what kind of stuck-in dirt just refuses to come up. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we got some caked-on grody-ness there. And some caked-on grody-ness there. Gives me appreciation for the grounds crew at work. That is for sure. In fact, at work today, they had a company out power washing some of the windows. And I guess that's what kind of got me thinking to play this game, was looking at, there we go, looking at real life, get inspired by your surroundings, take a breath, see what's going on around you. Oh, I was going to say the bubbles, but that's just the design in the wall itself. I was going to say that, like, the water was running down, leaving bubbles. Designed by local visionary Nadia Vonnegut, any relation to Kurt. The pop-up restroom was designed to only appear when needed. Relying on state-of-the-art camera systems and kinetic motion sensors buried deep within the sidewalk, it would detect from the gate of passers-by when relief was required and pop up in the nick of time. Oftentimes it knew even before they did. So don't hold it. Not good for your bladder. And in the world of AI, is something like that going to actually, hello butterfly, I don't want to hit you. Is something like that going to happen where a computer will know what you need before you do? It's almost like Alexa ordering, Now is that, okay, so those footprints were already there. I thought they were our footprints tracked on from walking around. But like Alexa orders your shopping as you need it. There'll be sensors like in your pantry, like, oh, your cereal container is feeling awful low. I went ahead and ordered you some more cereal. And then people troll it. They put in like ball bearings in their cereal just so that Alexa doesn't order their cereal ahead of time. Nice. Got the door. Now what would happen if someone was in? I'm sure that sign would say occupied perhaps. But would it go down into the ground? These are the safety things you have to consider. The fail-safes. If this thing malfunctioned and thought no one was inside or didn't detect anyone, if that sensor went down and the person was lowered into the abyss, What kind of rescue would that be? Fire department would need the keys to the automated bathroom. Imagine that would make the news. Person stuck in self-lowering restroom. That's probably the least embarrassing thing that first responders would run into. You couldn't pay me to be a first responder, man. You meet people to help. Most times it's the worst day of their lives. Other times they're really upset, perplexed, having a rough go of it. And you're there to be, you know, the shoulder to cry on, or to scream at, or to know what to do. And sometimes that's really tough. So, get that caked on grease. Yeah, I don't think we have to go to the red for that. We'll get nice in the corner. Cool. Nice. This corner is proceeding very well. Yeah, we'll be done with the corner. Oh, nope, top to bottom. Want to try to do this as I actually would. Got that done. And then this should complete this corner here. Of course, we got a lot of caked on goodness. Nice. Almost done with the back side. Now, I'm sure power washers, in fact, I know they do, like to draw some graffiti in the dirt before they wash it all up. But if you do, let it be known that if someone comes behind you with a thermal camera, you can see those hidden messages. I know this for a fact because at work, I fly a drone. And I was tasked with photographing the roof of one of our buildings. And you could see plain as day where the people who power washed the roof washed a certain part first because it was a different temperature. We had a FLIR. And we could definitely see some things in that on that roof that was untoward. I wonder if it's probably the top, if I had to make a guess. Come on, grab the ladder. All right, let's get up top. Just as I thought. Just as I thought. Oh, grody. Welcome to the subway. It kind of does look like, you know, mass transport in some big cities. Not Tokyo, though. I guess it would be no surprise that Japan keeps their public transport really clean. That was the one thing that I really enjoyed going to Japan, was the public transport. Just the difference public transport can make when it's really done well. And I'm from a small town that doesn't have any kind of public transport. In fact, the town next to me barely has a bus, like an inner city bus. So seeing trains run on time, especially bullet trains, was quite eye-opening, for sure. Wish the United States would get something like that. Granted, air travel. Oh, hello, Harper. Hey, Wishy. I heard that the fire chief's dog's gone missing. Once again, putting me in a group text that I don't want to be in. Unless we have to wash said dog. Then we're interested. Crap. Train of thought derailed. Oh, train! Perfect! Here I was going to say my train of thought was derailed, but I was talking about mass transport. Yeah, the United States would really benefit, I think, from mass transport. Especially, I guess, if jet fuel prices go up, or the airlines start doing those standing seats that I see online. Have you seen those where the coach seats are basically stand up? Your butt is sitting on maybe, 2 inches of platform, but you're mainly standing up and buckled Like Frankenstein's monster? Just like up against the wall? It's kind of how you're sitting? No. No, thank you. And I know what it is. They'll say, well, people won't want to do that. They'll book, you know, Economy Plus, or they'll book Business, so they don't have to be uncomfortable, and we'll make more money. Tell you, freaking corporations trying to milk. We see it with Xbox in particular. The 30%, it just came out today. You can tell what day I'm recording this, but I saw there was a report that Microsoft needed a 30% return over the year. Panic over. Fire chief just left the back gate open. Vulcan's home now. Vulcan the dog. Now, are you named after the Star Trek Vulcan, or the Vulcan cannon? Or, shoot, is Vulcan a Roman god? Crap. Don't remember off the top of my head. I feel like a bad person. Someone's going to know who Vulcan was, or what Vulcan is. Besides live long and prosper, of course. Could you imagine what the toilet state would be like in a place like this? I guess if you really wanted a profitable YouTube channel, you could go into haunted places or things like that. Places that fell in complete disarray and power wash 20, 30, 40, 50 years of grime off. Who knows what you'd even find there, besides disease and wildlife. That's what I'd be scared of if I came into a place like this, is like, what kind of spider nest are we gonna run into, or rats? Holy crap. Oh, that was nice and easy. But yeah, it's like, it's the stench that'll get you, the disease that may be lurking in the mold in the walls, and then the actual wildlife in a place like this that would just be a little bit iffy. All right, how in the gravy do we... Okay, so we can get the aircon here. Is it wise to blast an aircon with pressurized water? Probably not. But, I mean, if this bathroom hasn't been used in years anyway, no one's going to need the aircon. Unless you want to put this thing back in service, and then the aircon will probably be the least of their worries. So we need to get up. Can we stand on the change table? How convenient. It's almost like they designed it that way. Game design, everyone. There's still a little light on that aircon. Do we have to get in the innards? Let's go super high pressure. Get in there. Get in there nice and deep. Oh, the underside. Gotcha. All right, cool. I think we're running yellow. One less thing. Working from top to bottom. I forgot how much this particular job was. And it makes me wonder what actual power washers charge when they come and do a place like this. What would their rate be? And how hard would it be to start a power wash business? How much starting capital would you need to get a really good power washer? Because you don't want to show up with, like, you know, a garden hose that you just hold the tip of with your finger and call it a power wash. Wonder how much it would be to get started. And then you can do stuff like, you know, maybe not stream, but YouTube monetize. I mean, if the Detail Geek is monetizing his auto detailing, and I'm sure there's channels out there that do that. I actually haven't looked. But you know, gamers like myself, I'm sure the YouTube algorithm that's programmed to us, when we type in power wash, it'll bring up power wash simulator videos instead. Oh, you grimy. Instead of actual power washing. This is a strong change table. Can hold a hefty baby. Soap it. We definitely don't want any babies having any gunk touching their bum. Oh, God. All right, note to self. Don't retract the table while you're standing on it because you are stronger than you think. All right, yeah, we'll get this lip up front and to the side. A little crevasse. How does something actually get this dirty, you know? All right, I think we good. Now, is it gray or is that caked on? Okay, that's just gray. That's one thing about it. If we have to do a job like at night on very dark surfaces, we'll have to really be mindful. Because it's like, is that dirt, is that grime, or is that a shadow? On the floor! Oh, good thing we're wearing our wet weather gear. Because I would not want to be on my stomach in this. The angles, man, the angles. Can we go green? Yeah, I think we can go green. We'll widen our stance a little bit. Yeah, the role player in me is feeling like the condensation, the humidity pick up in this place. Say it's hot outside, it's like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I guess it'd be like 30 degrees Celsius in here. The condensation just building and building and building in here with no way out. Wait, someone's only gone and added a restroom extension below the grubby open bench on Equinox Boulevard. Well, I mean, it wasn't me. It was always here. We just discovered it. Tallulah. Iconic. I'm already feeling the need. This is next level ingenuity. So Tallulah might have eaten something to get the bowels moving. All right. Now, this wall's about done. All right, so inner wall. Does this all... Oh, the vent? Even the vent. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I was going to say, let's go with some power on that vent. All right, so this might all count as, yeah, inner wall, but it's several inner walls. Bing, bang. This one's about done. Aha. And this inner wall. Wow, so this inner wall, aha. Yep. So we're going bit by bit now. So let's go from top to bottom as we did before. Oh, that is grubby. We'll definitely have to soak that up. Oh, and the hand dryer, is that okay to spray with a pressure wash? I imagine they do, you know. You get a contractor in who can't be bothered. Sorry, toilet, we're going to have to stand on you. Like after a game in a sports stadium or something, it's like, we need to hose out these restrooms. The playoffs just ended. We're at the end of the season. We have to flip this thing around. Power wash the restroom, please. Save yourself a whole lot of time if your rooms are power wash capable. Just get in there and get all that crap out. And the mask you'd have to wear as well. Just trapping crap in your face. Like a gas mask. In the army, those things didn't breathe. Alright, so we got the flush button. Yeah, toilet flush sensor done. I didn't see a flush button, though. And sometimes those sensors are not as dependable as you would like them to be. Oh, the bar is orange. Never could have told. All right, so the wall's done. Yep. Under the chinny chin chin. Nice. Yeah, we'll save the toilet for after the walls. Now that the mirror is gotten. Right. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Nice. No reflections, though. We're a vampire. Confirmed. Yeah, mirrors are one of those unnecessary things that if your game doesn't really depend on you having a mirror or needing a mirror, don't render it in real time. But in games like Doom 3, I remember distinctly Doom 3 had working mirrors because they were there for the scare factor of like looking in the mirror and all of a sudden the room turns red and you see, wow, okay, grody grody. You see the undead or the demons come out of the stalls behind you and scare the ever-living crap out of you. And I had Doom 3 when it first came out. It came out in 2004. I remember that because I was in Iraq, and I did not have a laptop that could run it, so I was running Doom 3. When I first played Doom 3, it was running probably at like 5 to 10 FPS, which kind of helped because those moments where like imps and demons would jump out and scare you, I had like a 30-second warning because like the sound would go, and then like the lighting would change and there'd be like a big old flash of them spawning in, but then I could respond because I had like 10 seconds to decide what I wanted to do before the next frame. So kind of terrible in the performance, but it kept me alive. I never did finish Doom 3 though. I got annoyed at the flashlight mechanic where you couldn't hold your weapon or the flashlight at the same time. The first mod was called like the duct tape mod, that you could duct tape the, let's actually go in, you could duct tape some, your flashlight on your shotgun. Nice. It's one of those things where the developers were like, hey, we have this idea of tension. We can artificially, raise tension by you having to go dark to use your rifle. People didn't like that. They modded that out quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, making good progress. All right, inner wall, not done. So let's make sure all of our walls. All right, so that wall's taken care of. So is that, not that one. Probably in the crevasse. Fill it with your mighty juice. Just get right in the crack. Oh, come on now. Is it on the floor? Could be. Or is it... Tell you what. This one's crummy. Looks can be deceiving. Now, I'm not going to, cry uncle yet. And go... dirt revealer. We're going to try to do this ourselves. All right, get around the chrome bowl, the stainless steel. There we go. Kind of reminds me of the toilet I've seen on social media that was like the clear, see-through, like plastic toilet, the transparent toilet. It's like, why? Why would you need such a thing? All right. Whoop! Get the bottom side. Get from all angles. There we go. All right, can we do the floor? I think we can do the floor. We'll leave the toilet seat up to show that it has been cleaned. And all of this would just squeegee out. Could you imagine a squeegee? I don't know if there is a squeegee. But the way the water sort of goes away after a little bit, I doubt there's a squeegee, but if they added a squeegee mechanic where you had to push all of your excess water out, that would be intense. But squeegees are satisfying too. When you're washing windows and you have all the foam or whatnot, and you just wash windows. Props to the big window washers who climb on those massive gurneys and wash like the 92nd floor windows. No way, son. Not for me. I'll stick to on the ground and cleaning a dookie bathroom. Let's see, can we go a little bit bigger? Yeah. So not so caked on. Yeah, that bit's a bit grody in the corners, as you do. It's always the corners that get you. Get that moss off. So part of me is kind of seeing this like a developer, like when they're making a map, a grody map. It makes me wonder if they have like paint layers of like, hey, this hardness of dirt, and then they sort of layer it up, and then they put another layer on top that's a little bit easier to clean, and then the top layer can be just, you know, hosed away. It'd be an interesting thing to watch them build one of these maps. All right, so inner floor is gone. Grab rail. Probably this one if I had to make a guess. Yep, right on the underside there. Oh, and on the underside here. Have to go at a funny angle. Get that pressure. All right, grab rail done. Inner floor surrounding. We can do that. Butterfly, how'd you get in here? Probably in these corners. So let's run a lap around the corners with the yellow. Make sure everything, boom. And the inner wall. Which inner wall do we need? So this inner wall that goes over the door. All right, yeah, let's go yellow. A little bit, boom. Sweet. So it looked like a $400 job. We're at $600 now. And there we go, starting from scratch. Looping the outside. Cheeky pop-up. And we kind of broke our routine of working from top down. Oh, nice. The inside view. Yeah, I think that's a good process. Rinsen. You'll be delighted to learn that the public facilities kinetic sensors have been updated, and it's been successfully reintegrated into our public convenience network just in time for our upcoming Equinox Festival. I can state with confidence that you'll be hearing from us again. Outstanding. All right, so let's check the furniture. So we have a $50 future rug. We're not going to buy any rug equipment. Let's look at our washing equipment and see what we need here. So $500 for the Swirl Force Surf Ace. Ideal for flat surfaces at short range, this surface cleaner cuts through all dirt effortlessly. Like the sound of that? The Swirl Force 20-inch head. All right, so that is a head that goes with the Swirl Force Surfing Ace. So I don't know. God, the $12,000 needler. The Urban X with all of those dang attachments. Shoot. There you are. The Urban UX1. And then I think we also have that Prime Vista 1500. So we might need... Yeah, they're checked. So we have a turbo nozzle, a narrow beam of water that covers more surface area than a 0 degree. Specialist nozzle that fine-tunes to precise pressure relative to the area of effect. So maybe if we get closer, the pressure goes up. If we step back, the pressure goes back. It's light duty work. This is classified also as light duty. So we can either go all in on our Prime Vista 1500 or the Urban X1. So I think this Urban adaptable nozzle will be cool. We'll purchase that. All right. And the turbo nozzle. The extra long extension increases the range and power of any attached nozzle to the absolute maximum but a notable costly area of effect. So if we're shooting something way up there, like a gutter or something on a second-story building, we could get that. I think that'll be good. We'll go ahead and take that and work on our Urban X1 here.